The Objective News Network? Why keep lying? Dr. Fauci and COVID-19. Hello, this is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. Welcome to our broadcast today. The COVID-19 pandemic is a story that the Objective News Network has conducted a great deal of research on. In past stories, we laid bare the actions of the U.S. government, the Communist Chinese, the Russian Federation, and the former Soviet Union played prior to the major breakout of COVID-19 in December 2019 in Wuhan, China, at the Wuhan Virology Institute. In our 5-part series, we set forth the hard evidence taken from the National Investigative Library of Evidence, or NILE, assembled by the nonprofit think tank, the Institute for Complexity Management, proving. First, it was the United States itself that funded Russian research to produce deadly incurable pathogens using SARS, measles, and other deadly pathogens 2 decades ago. At the time, this woman, Ann Harrington, was a mid-level State Department official responsible for running the International Science and Technology Centers, or ISTC program for short. The program was billed by the State Department as a peaceful scientific cooperative program to help Russians and former Soviet republics move into the mainstream of nations. But it was nothing of the sort. The U.S. Central Intelligence Agency used the program as nothing but a front for U.S. intelligence collection activities against the Russians, Ukraine, and other countries of what was then called the Commonwealth of Newly Independent States. The ISTC program represented a CIA treasure trove of the very best kind of intelligence you can possibly hope to get, called HUMINT, short for human intelligence. During the time frame of the late 1990s and early 2000s, the U.S. intelligence community, including the Departments of State and Defense, the National Security Agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Department of Energy, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation all learned that the Russian Federation had developed a brand new, more deadly form of anthrax. The entire U.S. national security community was on alert because it was feared that the vaccine being given to U.S. troops might no longer be effective against the new strain of anthrax developed by the Russians if it was used on the battlefield. The intelligence community priority was to get a hold of a sample of the new form of anthrax. The Central Intelligence Agency's Jack Caravelli, with the help of these men, former Ambassador Richard Morningstar and Kenneth Baker from the Department of Energy, and Morningstar's State Department underlings, including Ms. Kim Savitt and Ms. Ann Harrington, were all more than willing to assist the CIA to conduct a spy operation on the Russians. The plan was very simple. Use the ISTC and any other programs in the U.S. government, like IPP, to let research and development contracts with Russian biological research institutes to gain access, HUMINT, and a sample of the deadly new strain of anthrax. But the entire operation was run haphazardly. It was dangerous and operated by a group of much less than competent intelligence operatives, including Savitt and Harrington, who did not understand what they were doing, how to do it, nor did they understand what they were getting into. Their first mistake was to try and infiltrate an Energy Department program called, yes, the Initiatives for Proliferation, or IPP program, without reading in the DOE head of the program, that would be me, John Hnatio. At that time, IPP had over 100 companies conducting peaceful cooperative research at over 200 institutes across the former Soviet Union, employing thousands of former weapons scientists and engineers as part of the largest defense conversion effort ever undertaken involving U.S. industry in Russia. I first discovered the clandestine operation when I caught wind that DOE laboratory employees working for me under the IPP program were going for before and after CIA briefings and debriefings, respectively, at CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. Their second blunder was when Ann Harrington mistakenly sent out a cable marked unclassified, identifying several of the CIA's target biological institutes that were working to establish contracts with in order to gather intelligence and get their hands on the new strain of anthrax. This is the worst kind of mistake that can ever happen in an intelligence operation. This leak of highly sensitive information can expose your assets on the ground, resulting in their elimination. Then I found out that Harrington was completely bypassing my chain of command at the Energy Department to task the DOE laboratories, including Sandia and Los Alamos National Laboratories in New Mexico, to help her clandestinely operate her intelligence operation. I discovered that laboratory personnel were discovered carrying vials of pathogens to and from their frequent trips to Moscow in their pockets or in their baggage, putting thousands and perhaps millions of people at risk of contamination. Their third mistake was when Savitt and Harrington, after their ISTC program was clearly compromised, set up a large interagency briefing to tell everyone that they were starting a brand new initiative with the Russian Federation to co-develop fast mutating incurable pathogens using American taxpayer funds. That's when I put the brakes on and withdrew from Morningstar's, Caravelli's, Baker's, Savitt's, and Harrington's horribly ill-conceived plan. I absolutely refused to participate. Something, by the way, you should never do in the government if you intend on keeping your job. My concern was that we were enabling the Russians and their allies, people like the Communist Chinese, to develop their own incurable pathogens that they could use against us and the United States. It wasn't long before I was summoned to a meeting at the old executive office building in Washington, D.C. with Morningstar, Caravelli, Baker, Harrington, and Savitt. I was ordered by Morningstar to play along or get along. I, of course, refused and was removed as the director of the IPP program to be replaced by someone else in the bureaucracy who would be more malleable and willing to play along to get along. Why this old story is so important today is because it was Morningstar, Caravelli, Baker, Savitt, and Harrington, and the CIA that established the precedent for what is happening right now with Dr. Fauci and the COVID-19 pandemic. What President Biden and the U.S. intelligence community do not, under any circumstances, want you to know is that the COVID-19 pandemic that's now killed 10 million people worldwide was the result of intelligence agency bungling and preventable. The focus of congressional attention should now turn to the potential involvement of the Central Intelligence Agency, State Department, and other members of the U.S. intelligence community. working with the National Institutes of Health and Fauci and their contractors to carry out illicit research and development contracts on incurable pathogens with the Chinese at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, just like Morningstar, Caravelli, Baker, Savitt, and Harrington did before them. It is what it is for July 7th, 2023. This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. Like all of our stories here at ONN, we use only the actual evidence to support all of our stories, including this one. Please visit the Institute for Complexity Management's website and their NILE Database to review clear, compelling, and overwhelming evidence of the corruption of the Departments of State, Defense, Energy, Justice, the FBI, and so much more. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our news channel, and we hope to see you the next time.